This episode of Tools for the Future is all about stakeholder analysis. A prerequisite for this talk is the one on 5 kinds of value, and you'll find it on my YouTube channel. It's important that you have that understanding down before working with stakeholder mapping. Stakeholder analysis looks at the various stakeholders in your organization or offerings ecosystem from the viewpoint of the kinds of value that get exchanged between you and those various stakeholders. In addition, you could also track the various kinds of value that get exchanged between stakeholders, whether or not it goes through you. In general, you should be looking at the value that you provide for customers. But very often, your customers have end users that they may or may not have done this kind of analysis with, and they may or may not understand the real value that end users are looking for. In this case, you may have to do both steps yourself. You may need to understand and analyze value for your customers' end users as well as your customers yourself. Now recognize that this is all based on an external perspective so far. When we look inside your organization, there are other parts of it that you should also analyze at some point. But for now, we're going to be externally focused. The first step in stakeholder analysis is to delete the stakeholder categories that don't make a lot of sense for your business. This map is a superset of all the possible stakeholders. Your business will differ significantly from those stakeholders in this map. Once you cross off the stakeholders that don't really apply, you can focus on the ones that do. Be careful here, though. It's very easy to cross off stakeholders and ignore them for the rest of the process, and you may very well have good reasons to do so. But very often, you could just as easily cross off a stakeholder with significant impacts or issues for your business without realizing it. The next step is to map the 5 different kinds of value: functional value, financial value, emotional value, identity value, and meaningful value across those stakeholders with particular attention to the direction of the value flow. When you're done mapping this value, you'll have a much clearer understanding of how value moves within your ecosystem. The final diagram of this value can look like anything. There's no standard way that this should look. These are examples from my students in years past, and you can see they all map value in the same way, but they all show it in different ways. Some separate certain kinds of value for one screen and other values for another. Others use color coding and map everything onto the same diagram. Others separate important distinctions because they want to make a point about what they've found. One of the most important aspects of stakeholder analysis is to understand where value flows between key stakeholders and what kind of value it is. For example, perhaps only financial value or money flows between 2 stakeholders. Is there an opportunity then for other kinds of value to be exchanged? In particular, employees are often unconsidered as sources of anything more than functional value, their job tasks. Your job is to look for opportunities where a lot of value flows in one direction and not much in the other, or where value isn't flowing effectively at all. You should also be looking at opportunities where only certain kinds of value, let's say functional or financial value, are flowing, where other kinds of value could be initiated. Again, there's no one right way to present this. You should find a way to present this information in a way that highlights the most important insights that you found. These are the building blocks to start with, however. Your application will differ based on your project, your organization, and the context around you. You can find some diagrams or templates for this stakeholder analysis at the URL on my website, nathan.com/tools. Thank you.